How's it going, video friends? In my last video, I discussed what I would do after completing Zone 5, and that spawned a lot of questions from you, the viewers, which is great. I believe that asking questions back and forth on a platform like YouTube here is a great way for future players to come by and learn some things they maybe never knew before. So without further delay, let's jump right into the video and answer some questions that players had. And if your questions don't get answered, just leave them below in the comment section and I will address them as soon as possible. Good luck, friends. Okay, Bit friends, let's jump right into some questions. There were quite a few questions on specifically the diagram, so I did some updates, made a few notes, and we're going to go over this step by step this time. As some of you may know, I have 4 ults in Bit Heroes, and my tank is actually going to be leveled next, and I'm going to follow this exact step. That way he can find Unity much sooner than my main, and it's going to be a lot more efficient in PvP and trials because of the Unity set. So let's start here. First he's going to finish Zone 5, then it's going to move straight into Raid 3 Normal until all gear is upgraded to Raid 3 Epics. As you can see here, that's going to take about 2 weeks max. You might go a little over, but I really doubt it. Then you're going to farm Despair and Sorrow. Do note here that this can only be found in Trials and Gauntlet at levels 100 to 109. I do get a lot of questions about the difficulty here, and it is worth noting that higher difficulty does not increase odds of getting drops. So if 100 is the best you can do, then grind 100. If you struggle going higher, that's fine, just keep grinding 100. But doing 109 is not going to give you the slightest chance better to get a set piece. And I'm going to continue to grind Hyper Shards. Notice here I need 20 total to upgrade Unity completely. I'm going to farm these Hyper Shards in Trials, Gauntlets, and also Hyper Dimension here, Raid 2. As mentioned in the previous video, I don't have Normal on here because after getting the Raid 3 Epics, I want to focus specifically on finding Hyper Shards. And if you're doing Normal mode, you're simply not going to find gear as fast. It's going to be super slow. And as I mentioned here, a few players asked, if you can't be Raid 2 Hard or Heroic after getting full Raid 3 Epics, then you simply need to work on your Raid team. There's not much else that I can say on that. As we see here, do not waste Hyper Shards on other items. That's pretty self-explanatory. Remember, your goal is to get fully upgraded Unity as soon as possible, and then get right back to Raid 3. Long story short, as mentioned in the previous video, if you find a Raid 2 legendary, like a spear, and you just get distracted by it being a shiny legendary, or you think it's going to be an upgrade, and it may give you a few extra stats, but the problem here is it's going to take 10 Hyper Shards to fully upgrade. And as we know, 10 Hyper Shards could mean weeks of farming. Now let's say you upgrade your spear 2 or 3 times and then find Unity within, say, a week or 2. That means all the Hyper Shards that you put into that spear are now kind of wasted because you can't use them on your Unity. And keep in mind that once you upgrade the legendary spear, if you go to exchange it, you only get half the Hyper Shards back. So that's very important to remember. And of course, after we have all of our Hyper Shards, our main goal is the fully upgraded Unity set. And the reason this is so important, I had players ask about this as well, is the fact that you can upgrade it to tier 6, which means it's going to be used pretty much forever. Do stay tuned in the video. I'm going to show you how to upgrade it to tier 6, And if there's any other questions, do leave them below. I really appreciate all of the back and forth questions. Thanks a lot. Okay, here's a quick simple comparison. As we see, Raid 1 and Tier 4 gear, when fully upgraded, is 117 stats. And Raid 3 epics, when fully upgraded, are 144 stats. That's a total of 27 stats per slot. If you upgrade every slot to epic Raid 3 gear, that's a whopping 162 stats. Once all stats are upgraded fully, you should be pretty close to starting Trials and Gauntlet level 100 to 109, where the Unity pieces can be found. I did see quite a few people asking questions as to where the stats come from and where you can find them. And of course, I've noted here the Bit Heroes Wiki. It's a simple Google. I recommend checking them out if you haven't. Okay, now let's compare before and after Raid 3. As you can see, Willie Dennis is in full Raid 1 Tier 4 Legendary gear, which brings his total stats to 837 on the left. He just finished Zone 5 and is now farming Raid 3 for a full set of epic gear. Note, he has found 8 Hyper Shards in Raid 2, but he's holding these for Unity, so he can minimize Hyper Shard farming later on. On the right, after about 2 weeks of running Raid 3 on normal, Willie Dennis should be in fully upgraded Raid 3 Tier 6 epic gear. He can now go back to Raid 2 to finish farming the Hyper Shards needed to fully upgrade the Unity set. Since his stats will be so much higher, he should now be able to also do Trials and Gauntlet at level 100 to 109, where Unity is found. Do note on this slide that 135 stats are added from leveling and daily rewards. Also note on the right that I've manually added his new updated stats after getting the Raid 3 epic gear. So here's your goal, friends. As you saw previously, Willie Dennis was level 123. If he starts farming his set, as you can see here, it's very doable that he could have full Unity by level 155. So if you are struggling with the grind, and I've been there, I know how it is, just keep pushing. As you can see here, it's very doable. Just keep farming and farming, and before you know it, you will have it. But just do your best to focus on Unity specifically, and do not waste any Hyper Shards on any other Raid 2 gear. If you do, it's just going to slow you down and postpone completing this by days, weeks, maybe a month. Okay, Bit Hero friends, last but not least, I had a couple questions on how do I upgrade my Unity set to be Tier 6. I've seen a few players in game that have it, but how do I do it? And the reason I left this for the end of the video is because it's going to be a long time before you actually achieve this. So if you click Craft and then click Reforge, notice I already have one piece of the Unity set. I personally am actually farming this myself. I just need to spare and should have it within the next week or so. Anyway, we've clicked Reforge. Now we're going to click the piece, and if you scroll all the way down, you'll notice for 50 doubloons, 10 Hyper Shards, a Onyx Lodestone, and 2 Harmony Orbs, you can upgrade your Tier 5 to Tier 6. Now obviously that's a lot of materials to trade in for this, so it's long term, way after you've obviously been harvesting Raid 3 materials. Also note the Onyx Lodestone is actually obtained by finding a set piece in Raid 3, a Tier 6 set piece, and exchanging it, and you get this instead of a Harmony Orb. So long story short, this is going to take weeks if not months to farm, so I wouldn't even worry about this. If you're not able to see it on your screen, it's probably simply because you don't have Sorrow or Despair. But it is also worth noting here that since you can upgrade this to tier 6, it's just very vital that you go and get this Unity as soon as possible. The longer you wait to get your Unity set, the more you're going to be sucked into Raid 3. I've seen numerous comments now that said, I've been running Raid 3 normal since Raid 3 came out. I've found 2 to 3 pieces of gear, and I'm up to, say, 30 or 40 doubloons. That may seem like a lot to some players, but the truth is, running normal is going to take way too long to find your gear. And the only way you're going to progress to hard is obviously finding a better raid team. Now, we all know finding a better raid team takes time, so this is why I'm recommending going back to Raid 2, farming Unity, and as you upgrade your gear and find Unity, which should take anywhere from, I'd say, 2 weeks to a month max. By the time you get that all said and done, you should have a raid team by then, and then you can go back to Raid 3 and start farming hard or heroic. Okay, now let's talk about Harmony Orbs. In the previous video, there was numerous questions about these. A lot of players haven't seen them, and a lot of players were asking, how do you get these? Where do they come from? How do I view the set items in the game? Let's discuss this real quick. So as you can see, I have 6 of these. Let's go over how to get one of these. So I'm going to go to Craft. I'm going to go to Exchange. And let me change my filter here. And this set piece, which I just found recently at level 109 in Trials, it's obviously a duplicate and I do not need it. So I'm going to click here and exchange, and you can see here that it gave me a Harmony Orb, a Hyper Shard, and 3 Epic Material. This is where you get your Harmony Orbs. Now, what do you use the Harmony Orb for? Let's go to Trade. We'll go all the way down. Notice here you can take 1 Harmony Orb plus 3 Hyper Shards, 10 Epic Material, and 250k gold, and this will allow you to look at the set chest. If you trade for the set chest, click here, you get a 1 in 7 chance to swap your piece of gear with another random piece. It cannot be the same piece of gear, so technically I guess it's a 1 in 6. But here's the catch. As mentioned in the previous video, since it takes 3 Hyper Shards to do this trade, you actually don't want to do this trade until you have enough Hyper Shards to fully upgrade your set. So let's look at my character real quick. My character recently got Sorrow. I now have half of this set. I made the mistake of waiting until high level to go back and farm this set. That's why I'm making these videos, so that you can get it now and not have to make the same mistake. I've been farming for about a week now, and I found this one already, so I fully upgraded it. The next one should drop within the next week or so, and I'll be good to go. Okay, so this one's fully upgraded. Let's see how many Hyper Shards I have. I have 5 Hyper Shards. Okay? Destroying this legendary will give me an additional 5 Hyper Shards since it's a tier 5 legendary. 5 plus 5 is 10. It takes 10 total Hyper Shards to fully upgrade this. Therefore, right now, if I find the other set piece of Unity, I can fully upgrade it. Here's the gotcha. If I go to trade and click all the way to the bottom here, if I were to trade this and I just miraculously just got exactly what I needed, right? Let's say I just found the other piece of Unity to spare. If I did get this, it would waste 3 Hyper Shards. And the reason is, since it costs 3 Hyper Shards to do, and it's a random 1 in 6 chance, even if I got the best outcome, I would then have to go and farm trials and or raid 2 to get 3 additional hyper shards. And as you know, that can take weeks. So in those weeks, let's say it takes 2 weeks to find 3. If I find Despair, which was the piece I needed, in that 3 weeks of time, I basically wasted 3 hyper shards and that 2 weeks of time. So long story short, trading it in can actually hurt you. It can actually set you back weeks, if not months. I've actually talked to multiple players that have used the trade more than 10 times before they found the correct Unity piece. So keep that in mind. Do your best, just keep farming, and do not use that trade until you have more hyper shards than you need to fully upgrade your Unity. Okay, video friends, that pretty much does it for this video. I appreciate you watching and being patient with me. Do keep the questions coming. I really appreciate the feedback and talking back and forth. It helps a lot, and I think that's the best way to learn. I hope after watching these videos you kind of understand the importance of finding Unity sooner rather than later. I've seen so many players that will start Raid 3, get distracted by a legendary, mention how they have 20, 30 doubloons, and then they keep getting more and more sunk into Raid 3. You have to understand, the more you dedicate yourself to Raid 3, the harder it's going to be to go back and farm Unity. I'm level 216 now, and it actually took my guildies and quite a bit of people in stream to convince me, hey, you need to go back, get Unity. It's going to help your guild, it's going to help PvP, it's going to help in trials, etc. If you can imagine having a 1 mana heal at your disposal from your hero at all times, it's just amazing. I highly encourage you to look into it. I hope that you'll go back and actually farm it. It actually doesn't take nearly as long as you think, and by the time you have it fully upgraded, I can pretty much guarantee your raid team should be fully set and you'll be loving life. But I don't want to make the video too long here. I'm going to head out. This is McProseph signing off, and take care.